Badenoch, the peace dividend is over. We're hearing very bleak warnings of the threat from Russia. But upping defence spending is going to be very, very expensive, isn't it? How on earth are we going to pay for this? There's going to be very difficult choices, aren't there?
It's a good question. There's only one way to do it, and that is to grow our economy, get people into work. Conservative Party is the party of work. We have a Labour government that's the party of welfare. All it cares about is benefits. We can't fund defence with lots of people on benefits. All the money that should be going into defence is going on paying people to stay at home when they should be working. That is how we start fixing this problem.
And you're here at a drone company. Tell us a bit about that and what you would do specifically around this.
So today I've been visiting Evolve Dynamics, who make drones, as part of our announcement for a sovereign defence fund. Labour should have put out its defence investment plan today. They've done nothing. Someone needs to do the thinking. Conservative Party is the only one that can. And basically what we're saying is that you look at what's happening in Ukraine. We have got to accelerate our capability in lethal drone manufacture, making them as quickly as possible at scale. Really critical, and we need money to do that. Getting that sovereign defence fund up and running will help solve that problem. But the second thing is to get Chinese components out of our critical infrastructure, out of defence. China is cornering the market. It is supplying both sides in the Ukraine war, making a lot of money. Other people aren't getting a look in. We're losing manufacturing capability if we allow China to do everything. This sovereign defence fund is about encouraging British manufacturing, investing in British manufacturers to make sure that we have the defence capability that we need.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
The war in Ukraine may be nearing a ceasefire. The Defence Secretary is talking about troops on the ground and jets in the air. Are you comfortable with British soldiers physically on the ground in Ukraine, potentially in harm's way? Is that a price that we need to be ready to pay?
So I've always said that we should support Ukraine in every way that we can. They are a democracy that's been invaded by an aggressive dictator. But we're not writing any blank checks for Labour. I haven't seen exactly what they mean by this. I want us to make sure we look after British troops and not just use them willy-nilly where it's not necessary. So I'd need to see the details of that plan. I want to make sure that everything we do is in our national interest. I do believe supporting Ukraine is in our national interest. Russia is not our friend. They are not an ally. They are an enemy. You look at what happened in Salisbury. They've killed British people on British soil. We do not want to pretend that Russia is a party that can be appeased. It's Reform, Nigel Farage, who talk about admiring Putin. They're the ones who've had their leaders taking bribes from Russia. That's not us. We are not Russia's friend in the Conservative Party. We want to protect the UK.
The government have unveiled their violence against women and girls strategy today. One of the measures is potentially sending young boys on courses to tackle misogyny, intervening in the playground. Do you think that that is a sensible policy?
It is a sign of a government that is completely defeated and has run out of ideas. It's not 11-year-old boys who are perpetrating violence against women and girls. That's what they should be focusing on. Get the people who've come from cultures that don't respect women out of our country. That's why we have policies like deporting all foreign criminals, no ifs, no buts. If you want to solve violence against women and girls, get more police on the streets. 10,000 more police officers keeping our streets safe. But pretending that if we have a few more courses in primary school or year 7, that's what's going to fix it is just complete nonsense. What's happened is some people in Labour have watched adolescents and they think that that's how they should be making policy. Completely ridiculous.
Do you think that the government's rhetoric on tackling violence against women and girls is matched on the ground by the reality of the steps that they are taking to counter the fact that people are coming across on small boats, we don't know anything about them, and the threat that that poses?
No, the rhetoric doesn't match the reality at all. They're scared, they're weak, they're divided, they don't agree amongst themselves. I mean, Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, came out with a few good ideas, not enough, nowhere near enough, and they were all attacking her. They have no plans to sort this issue out. That's why they're talking about going to schools to tell boys to stop being so naughty. That's not what's going to stop a lot of the perpetrators out there. It isn't courses. We need enforcement.
The government is potentially looking to spend up to £1 billion a year to get us back into the Erasmus scheme. Do you think that's a good use of taxpayers' money? And do you worry that the government is dismantling Brexit really bit by bit?
It is a terrible use of money. We have some of the best universities in the world in the UK, so lots of people want to come to our universities to study. And Erasmus never gave UK students as much as it gave others. We even had lots of people failing to pay back loans, for example. But we thought that 220 million was too expensive. We were not getting value for money at 220 million. Labour is now spending £500 million, and that's the discounted price. These people cannot negotiate. There was a deal that was negotiated by Conservatives. It wasn't perfect, but it is a lot better than anything that Labour is doing right now. They are making everything worse.
A report on the state of British farming out today. Real concerns about what these inheritance tax changes mean for farmers, the changes coming in April, worries particularly about elderly farmers who don't have 7 years to pass their assets on. What do you want to see happen? And do you think the government is going to have potentially blood on its hands if we see elderly farmers taking their own lives? Well,
I've been very clear. Conservatives will reverse all of these changes on family farms taxes, family business taxes too, because it's not just APR, it's BPR as well. I want people to know that we think what Labour has done has been cruel and immoral. It is wrecking farming in our country. It's, as you said, we've heard stories about some farmers committing suicide at a time when food security is at the top of many people's minds. This is an area that Labour should not be messing about with.
And just lastly, budget changes in the government are hitting pubs very, very hard. Do you worry that it's going to be last orders for some of these pubs this Christmas?
I do worry about pubs. And I asked the Prime Minister at PMQs yesterday what he was going to do, and it was just waffle. We need to make sure that we back business in this country. Pubs employ a lot of young people. What Labour did with the jobs tax, that increase in national insurance, hit many of them hard. And they were expecting some relief on business rates in last month's budget. They got nothing. In fact, their business rates are very likely increasing. That is a real problem for pubs. And at Christmas time, when they should be making, much of their profit, a lot of them are running at a loss. So I am worried about pubs. We have a Save the Pub campaign. We're doing everything we can to mitigate and try and get Labour on the right track.
Kemi Badenoch, thank you very much indeed for talking to us on GB News today. Thank you.